Practice begins. The weekend passed by soon enough, and Anna found herself looking forward to starting the week anew. She liked the school, and this was evident. Mr. Lawrence felt happy and relieved on seeing her smile. It was worth the effort that he had to put in. Monday morning brought with it a busy schedule of academics at school, which Anna was quite happy about. But the most exciting thing about this bright day was the music class. Music was something Anna loved, and she could hardly wait for that class to begin. The class trooped into Mrs. Patricia's class rather noisily, and the teacher sighed. She had to choose children to perform various musical pieces, both vocal and instrumental, for the upcoming cultural event, and would have to train them through long hours of rehearsals. She was looking for star performers, and Sister Agnes had mentioned a new girl who might be promising. She spotted Anna quite easily as the wheelchair stood out in the crowd. Musical instruments were played along the walls, and some were neatly placed in the cupboards, of which there were 3. All the same, maneuvering the wheelchair about was not easy. Once the kids had settled down, she separated the pianists, the violinists, drummers, guitarists, and the vocalists. She looked at Anna and asked her what she was good at. Anna blushed. She said she could sing a little, play the piano, and also strum a guitar. Well, she could not possibly do them all. Miss Patricia asked Anna to sing a few lines of any song she wanted to, as she needed to check if Anna could hold her notes. Anna bowed her head, shut her eyes, and began to sing her father's favorite song by John Denver, "Country Roads Take Me Home." The class was silent as Anna's sweet, lilting voice filled the classroom and wafted out into the corridors. Sister Agnes was passing by and stopped to peep in. Her voice was sheer magic. Well, that decided it. Anna was to lead the vocals. The decision was made on Anna, and now was the time for Miss Patricia to decide who would play what instrument before she started with rehearsals of the pieces of music that she wanted them to perform. Unnoticed by the rest of the class, this decision had not gone down well with Daisy, as she was a self-proclaimed star. How could Miss Patricia choose Anna, who could not even stand for the performance on stage? She was hurt and angry, but hid it well. She was certain that Miss Patricia would soon realize her folly and ask Daisy to take Anna's place. Imagine her consternation when she was handed a pair of maracas to rattle standing at the back of the orchestra. She was furious at the unfairness of it all and decided to teach both Anna and Miss Patricia a lesson. She was not sure how, but she knew she would think of something. She turned up her pert little nose and took her place reluctantly. She did not want to seem ill-tempered, as she might just be ousted from the orchestra, she realized. Miss Patricia distributed pieces of music that she wanted the children to play, one group of instrumentalists at a time. Despite that, there was quite a din, and the cacophony disrupted a few of the neighboring classes. She decided to get only one set of players in at a time so that she would have better control. It was decided that the pianists would stay an hour after school today to practice. A similar routine would be followed for all the instrumental groups every day, and vocalists would practice with the rehearsed group during school hours. The hour concluded all too soon, and it was time to replace the instruments to their allotted spaces and head back to their classroom. Lena put her clarinet back in its case very lovingly and turned around to head back to Anna. She almost bumped into a very sullen-looking Daisy and wondered what the matter could be, as everyone had been so excited. She shrugged and moved on. Daisy was so full of anger and resentment that she flung the maracas down hard and it broke. Oh dear, she was mortified. Miss Patricia was upon her in seconds and admonished her. As if handling all these children and getting the symphony organized was not enough, she had to cater to damages as well. She shook her finger in Daisy's face and asked her what the meaning of the tantrum was. How was she going to arrange for another pair of maracas? Daisy cringed and whimpered an apology before she fled out the class and down the corridor, stumbling down the stairs till she slipped and landed on her back at the bottom of the staircase. Her face was flushed with anger, remorse, and embarrassment. Things were just not going right today. Quite unreasonably, she was convinced it was all Anna's fault. What did that cripple think of herself? As luck would have it, David had witnessed the little tumble and stood at the top of the stairs, laughing at her. Oh, this was so painful and unfair. She got up, headed to the washroom, and locked herself in for a good cry. David, as expected, headed back to the classroom and announced it to the entire class. Poor Daisy! There was loud laughter when she finally entered the classroom. She took her place in the third row quietly, making it a point not to glance at Anna as she passed her. During the recess, Anna and Nayna took their food trays up to where Daisy was sitting and asked her how she was. Daisy's lower lip trembled with emotion before she grabbed her tray and shifted to another table without saying a word in reply. The girls were perplexed. They could not figure out what was wrong. After all, they were just trying to be nice to the girl. They soon forgot about it once they started chatting. The rest of the day passed by with the usual academic sessions and bursts of frolic in between. Daisy, of course, continued to sulk. The keyboard players stayed back for music practice while the rest of the children retired to the hostels and Anna went back home. Daisy and her sourness was soon forgotten. Anna was full of excitement and she recounted the day's events to her mother. Mrs. Lawrence smiled to herself as she heard the recounted events and found Anna humming to herself as she went to freshen up before supper. The happiness continued as she did not once complain about the pumpkin soup and broccoli laid out for dinner, which she was wont to eat. Things continued in this manner till it was time for music class again. Oh dear, Daisy was crestfallen as she had no role to play anymore. She was made to sit and watch the rest of the children practicing, and it broke Anna's kind little heart to see the girl so desolate. She had a brilliant idea, or at least that is what she thought. If only she could convince Miss Patricia to give it a try. At the first chance that she got at grabbing the attention of the harried music teacher, Anna suggested that Daisy be allowed to sing seconds as she had a very high-pitched voice which could be used in that manner. Miss Patricia thought about it but shook her head doubtfully. She glanced over at Daisy, who sat wide-eyed with amazement at the fact that Anna was trying to get her apart. Anna requested the teacher to give it a try. "Oh, please, ma'am," and she reluctantly agreed. Daisy was thrilled. Although she was still sore at Anna for having stolen the limelight, this sort of absolved her a little. She would reconsider taking her revenge this once, she thought to herself as she quickly took her place with the vocalists. It worked. The seconds sounded wonderful and added a new dimension to the performance. Daisy was on. Practice carried on relentlessly, and by the time the big day arrived, Anna, Lena, and Daisy got along wonderfully well and were an awesome threesome.